Name 8186116007. Today, Maya, are you ready to present your result of your research? Yeah, we give you 20 minutes to present, to explain the most important one from the phenomena gap until the result of your research. Okay. Yeah, before that, I say thank you to the reviewers, Ibu Dr. Masito Warni Siregar MID, Pak Mahmud Layan Hutasud SPD PhD, Profesor Amrin Saragi MA PhD. Today, this is the reviewers of the Maya's
Ya iyalah, diatur si Maya itu kawan-kawannya semua.
My colleagues, Ibu Dr. Maisuri MA. Ya.
Paling yang kejam Maisuri.
Maya, you can start to present in 20 minutes.
Thank you, Prof. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Dr. Zulkifli MSN as the chair of the meeting, and Professor Dr. Sumarsi MPD as the promoter, and the Honorable Dr. Maisuri MA as the co-promoter, and the Honorable Ibu Dr. Masito Warni MED as the reviewer, with Sir Mahmud Layan Hutasud SPD PhD as the reviewer, and also Prof. Amrin Saragi MA PhD as the viewer and the head of the study program. I am Maya Oktora. Please allow me to present the research about writing assessment model in the implementation of genre-based pedagogy in Indonesian bilingual class. I will start the share screen right now. So this research is about the implementation of genre-based pedagogy that is usually implemented in EFL writing class, but in this case it is implemented in science class, namely bilingual program of math and physics, biology and chemistry in Universitas Negeri Medan. So from the preliminary study, it is found that bilingualism is considered as a confusion in Indonesian context, but it is need to be taken as an asset rather than these confusions. As an example, students tend to think.
Sorry, yes. Maya, before continuing on, yes. This is a very, very close meeting. So we would like to, sorry for other participants apart from the reviewers and promoter. Jadi sekali lagi karena sidang ini sidang yang sifatnya tertutup, kami mengharapkan supaya yang tidak terkait dengan seminar ini mohon untuk tidak berada di layar kita ya. Jadi sangat tertutup sidang kita ini. Ya, bahasa kasarnya ada sesuatu yang mesti kami bicarakan yang tidak perlu didengar oleh orang lain. Jadi kami berharap supaya mahasiswa yang lain untuk tidak berada di layar kita. Sekali lagi, mohon maaf sekali kondisinya terpaksa saya katakan bahwa sidang ini sidang tertutup karena banyak hal yang tidak layak didengarkan oleh yang tidak concern dengan ini. Sekali lagi, mohon kesediaan dari Bapak dan Ibu dan saudara mahasiswa untuk tidak berada di ruang maya ini. Sekali lagi mohon maaf, mohon maaf.
Seminar hasil ini.
Baik, silakan diteruskan.
Thank you, Prof.
Maya?
A bit confusing, but may I continue, Prof?
Yeah, please do
Yes.
so.
So, in the case of bilingualism, we considered bilingualism rather than take it as a confusion rather than an assets. For example, but it's reality that students do this every day, that they calculate and process critical thinking in their mother tongue, and thus they sing songs in English and then internalize the confidence that they can speak English, but they speak little English, rather broken English during high school, and suddenly when they enter university, they need to face and write academic essays in a university, especially in Unimed with all the KKNI tasks, 6 tasks, all are compiled in English in EFL studies. But in bilingual programs, there are this a chance, a safe place that the lectures allow the use of Indonesian or English as the language of their assignment. So they may choose to do their assignments in English or Indonesian. So this create a safe place for mistakes and failures to happen. And why it is taken, rather than it's taken as a confusions, it is taken as an assets because it creates and enhance a safe place for learning. And as one of the wise words said by Donald Trump, that success doesn't come from remembering all the facts, but it comes from mistakes and failures that is again and again and eventually gain success. And the other fact that is found in the preliminary study that these students in bilingual programs are selected from TOEFL prediction score, but they're studying how to do research and publications in their learning every day. So as we know in TOEFL prediction score, there's no writing as the subject of the test, but in class they need to write it for research and publication. So it is unrelated at all. But yet, this is why the bilingual program is having tons of students' articles, but very few made it to publications. Then, by saying that bilingualism is taken as an asset rather than confusions, because these are allowed in bilingual program that they may do the presentations in Bahasa, but the written PPT is in English or vice versa. So I would like to test this one, whether you think of the same or not as my findings in the preliminary study. So the problem is arise when the model of evaluation used in writing hasn't managed to make the students good in writing, even though they have experimental activities in high schools. The real thing is the writing process in experimental classes in high school hasn't been able to overcome the weaknesses in writings. Even that in our everyday teaching right now, we consider students' product in writing as perfect in one writings. There is no process that there's no assessment for the process that they may have the chance to revise and compile the writings and then revise again. Don't give them any chance, so we just give them the instructions to do their assignments, and then they will submit the assignments, and it is considered as done. So the response that the teachers or lecturers made is this match with the criteria of certain genre, and this is why the education of the pedagogy of genre is not is barely used in science class. And also the students needs the evaluations model or assessment model that can help them to see these the chronology of their thinking process and to see where they are in the field of writing. So we need the model of assessment that can assess the process of writing that is done by the students. And then we need to set plannings for evaluations to see where are they in the writing process, so they can develop their competence in writing, and they know what they need with the writing process, whether they in the future they will use it for applying for scholarship, that they need the essays for applying for jobs or reporting their works and everything. So they need to adjust their skills with their future needs. So the problem of the study is, sorry, sir. The problem of the study is how the writing assessment model in the implementation of genre-based pedagogy in Indonesian university bilingual class is constructed, and how is the validity of the writing assessment model, the reliability and the practicality of the model. And I'm back to Bahasa because it's a long paragraph, and I hope it is more understandable in it was hopefully for fellow students are here to help me with this presentation so they understand more, because you don't think and you read and you listen at the same time. It's quite ineffective. So the reading is in Bahasa. So the significance of the study is, with this process approach, the students are planning to they need to plan their writings, and then they will research for the data, and then they will evaluate their own writings with certain criteria. And this process approach in writing is going to be used in the products of the assessment model. And this development research will focus on the final products as the result of the research. So the result will be a book of, and it will be in the form of enrichment books, and it will conserve the skills of the students, so they know the difference of each genre, and they can use each genre for certain contexts. So this research is developed with the model of ID in the analysis process. The need analysis is concentrate on the explanation test, and then at first we're checking whether there is any existing evaluation tools that the lecturers are using right now in classes, especially in the science bilingual classes. And it is found that they don't use the same instrument tools. In fact, if we want to be honest, they're not using any tools. They're just saying if the English is good, understandable, then the rating is good. So this is this becomes the findings, and after a deep root analysis is done, we come up with the solution to design the evaluation tools and as writing assessment models that concentrates on the explanation text that is based in the implementation of genre-based pedagogy to develop the cognitive ability of students in writing. In the design process, sorry. The theory of flower and haze I used. So the phase is from the planning and then reviewing, translating and reviewing. And these steps are adjusted with the rhythm of KKNI in Unimed to become planning, research, and publications. And also
Unimed aja
in
masih
this
KKN.
phase, the process is done by designing the evaluation tools that is in a form of a book that will give the students the general instructions and also the specific instructions in writing to make the steps easier for them to follow, because they don't really learn the implementations of genre-based pedagogy before in high school. Maybe they learn, but not concentrate on much because they choose the science as their major, not English. So they don't really deal with text, a lot of text in English. So this book will in the development phase. I developed the book considering the need analysis, the students analysis, and the users analysis, the lectures in this case. Wait. And after that, in the implementation phase, we try to use the book in the learning process with some strategy, that is intervention strategy. So when students have difficulties with the task, the assignment, they will go to the guidebooks and they will see the details in there. What should they do with their difficulties? And then they can return to the lectures for checking. And also in the implementations, also we test the practicality to see whether the students use the book and it's considered as helping or not. And then in the evaluation process, we test the book to be used in small scale groups and also to the other classes that doesn't really know that there's this research that's we're applying in classes. So the new theory is based on the Flower and Haze. The writing assessment model is built on the Flower and Haze theory. That's considered that has developed the previously the writing process based on the cognitive process theory. So in Flowers and Haze, there are 3 steps, that is planning, translating, and reviewing. And this P2P model, this is the name for the new model. It is planning, researching, and publications. So there are 4 process in this cognition process. That is a set of, there are these. And then the goal of this process is for students to understand the hierarchy of how to make an essay, and they can learn step by step, and each step will be taken, an assessment will be taken for each steps, and this also will be adjusted with the goals of their task. So this is the new model that is proposed. It is called pull to push. So why is it pull to push? Because at this moment, students are in class. They're expected to write and do research and also to publish that is considered as outcome-based educations, the successful outcome-based educations. But in reality, our students are not familiar with those, and our students also don't have intrinsic motivations to do so because they don't really acknowledge the use of doing research and publications in classes. They haven't yet managed to understand that in the future there will be teachers and they will do a lot of explaining and they will do a lot of research and they also will do a lot of publications to be taken as a successful and professional teacher or educator. So there's a process of pulling the students from their confusions by using the genre-based process approach and self-assessment worksheet book. Please allow me to explain about the book. So the instruments that is used in this writing assessment model is the Student's Guide to Research and Publications that is equipped with general instructions, specific instructions, and brainstorming. So, oops, sorry. So in general instructions, they will do they will be explain the whole sections of the book, what are they going to accomplish with the task, and then the specific instructions will be more specific, like read the first draft and this and that and in steps, so they can check whether they do it or not, and they can also recheck again. They can they can recheck their understanding again by rewriting what they have understand. And in the brainstorming phase, they are asked to do brainstorming and planning and organizing their work, along with doing collaborations with their friend to discuss their work with the tutor or their peers. So this is for the student's guide book. And the P2P model itself will be placed in planning. It, it will be planning, research, and publications. So each of the tasks will concentrate more on these three steps. It is sort of like KKNE, but just make it shorter, and hopefully they will understand better if we make it simple, and it will motivate them to overcome the task because it is combined with a self-assessment, so they know in what phase they are. And this is for the research part. There will be there's some introductions on how to incorporate evidence into academic words and to recheck again whether they understand the steps of the research or not. And then also this is the publications. We will use the book that is available, or we can make this our own book for this. And also there's this, if they feel like they are overwhelmed with the steps in these publications, I mean in the Student's Guide to Research and Publications, they can always pull themselves back to the basics need. So sorry sir. So a self-assessment book of worksheet will be given. It is consists of 6 books that is gradually start from the easiest part, that is learning vowel, for example, to the hardest part, that is doing essays by paragraph. And also they can learn by themselves outside of the class. So this will add as a supplement for the students with learning difficulties. If they don't understand what they're doing, they can always pull themselves back and then learn again from the basics to the comprehensive part. And this is done in their own time outside the class, so they can decide whether they want to catch up with the difficulties, or they want to take it slow, or if they can understand the first book, they can move on to the second book. If they can do the second book, they can move on to the third book, uh, and then they can decide the pace of learning. If they go back to the student's guidebook again and find difficulties again, they can go back to this self-assessment worksheet. That's why this model is named pull to push model. It means that they can go back to the basics needs by doing self-assessment worksheet, and then can return to the class to keep up with the pace of learning of the class. So they can do this back and forth in their learning time. And then the validity of assessment model, it is done by the Dean of FMIPA, and the result is showing that the products are valid and can be used in the field. And the reliability of the assessment model is collected and then blind rated by the help of 2 English lectures, and it is shown that the calculations it is shown that there is a consistency of the 2 sets of the scores produced by the lectures, and it is shows a high positive correlation between the 2 sets. And from the practicality, it is carried out by giving questionnaires to the 2 lecturers, one from chemistry and one from biology, and they are asked to use the book in the class and also to rate the development of this product. Is it considered helping in their RPS assessment and learning activities or not? And is also asked to assess the presentations of the book, the visual of the book, to see the appropriateness of the book's language. And I'm back to the Indonesian again because this is if I explain this in English and then read this in English, because it will be boring, so I'll use it I use Indonesians and to see if it's helping a bit with the understanding of my friends, but I'm afraid they're not here. So the conclusions of the research that the products that using process approach considered to be helpful for students in their cognitive and metacognitive process in writings. And hopefully this writing process that is going back and forth will help them to see writings